Hello there. Welcome to Sumit Academy. I do hope that you have subscribed to my channel. Do subscribe now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. In this video, we shall talk about information warfare. This video will be useful not only for questions on internal security, but also as an essay topic. In the 21st century, the familiar form of warfare in which physical damage is meted out against the opponent's military forces and infrastructure has become only one form of attack. Instead, many countries are increasingly launching non-lethal attacks against an enemy's information systems. This is the rise of information warfare. Today, information is probably worth much more than any other commodity. Globalization has taken the value of information to new heights. Information warfare is the manipulation of information trusted by an adversary without the adversary's awareness, so that the adversary will make decisions against their interest, but in the interest of the one conducting information warfare. In other words, the chief objective of information warfare is to achieve information superiority over an adversary. It might mean more information. It definitely does mean better information. It not only means making sure our information is reliable and accurate, but also means denying information superiority to our enemy. People today are talking about the impact of information technology on the world. They are discussing how business, the economy, education, and even personal relationships are being affected by the onset of the information age. It should come as no surprise then that people are also talking about how technology is impacting the way we engage in one of our oldest traditions, war. It has evolved to the extent that for most nations, information technology is inherent in their war fighting capabilities. The free flow of information within and between nation states is essential to business, international relations, and social cohesion, as much as information is essential to a military force's ability to fight. Electronic warfare is used to disrupt or neutralize these information transmissions. These might be electronic jamming used to cripple military communications or weapon guidance systems. Or it might include civil uses. For example, the air traffic control system used by aircraft to avoid in-flight collisions, or the recently adopted European rail traffic management system that replaces railway trackside signaling and provides full control of trains. Jamming or degrading either of these would cause chaos. Bringing down a stock exchange could cause massive financial losses. Cyber attacks can also be directed at industrial control systems used in manufacturing plants or in power, water, and gas utilities. Psychological operations are aimed more at degrading the morale and well being of a nation's citizens. This might include spreading false information, rumor, and fear through social media and news outlets. The great level of connectedness that populations have today is a strength, but being instantly connected means that misinformation and fear can also spread rapidly, resulting in panic. Information warfare then is the integration of electronic warfare, cyber warfare, and psychological operations for both attack and defense. Information achieves value by improving decisions. The role of information in warfare must be to affect strategic or tactical decisions in one's favor. Information achieves value by improving decisions. Thus, the role of information in warfare must be to affect strategic or tactical decisions in one's favor. This role is as old as warfare itself. Indeed, it might be said to be the very purpose of warfare. Information war has already broken out. It is suspected that Russia has launched increasingly sophisticated non-lethal attacks on its neighbors. For example, against Estonia, Georgia, and Ukraine, which experienced an integrated onslaught of electronic cyber attacks and psychological operations. There is convincing circumstantial evidence that the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan gas pipeline in Georgia was targeted using a sophisticated computer virus which caused an uncontrolled pressure buildup that led to an explosion. Even the ISI has shown it has a good understanding of how to use and manipulate social media for use in psychological warfare. It is reportedly building greater cyber war and electronic warfare capabilities, as it recognizes that winning the information war is the key to spread its own version of Islam. Third world countries, including India, will have to struggle to offset the information advantage of the first world, since proprietary software that run information systems and massive data gathering giants like Google and Facebook have enslaved us in the field of information dissemination. The world is only now realizing that these internet giants are extremely powerful owing to the information they possess, as also the uncanny ability they have to influence opinions, decisions, and outcomes of events. The Cambridge Analytica revelations and several other examples of the use of information warfare underline the potency of information superiority in the digital age. We need to have a holistic understanding of information warfare along with a stated and declared policy, strategy, and suitable structures to undertake info warfare campaigns in support of our national interests. Including information security as an essential part of national security is an important step towards waging the war in infospace, the fifth dimension of warfare. Another equally important step is to study information warfare as a concept and analyze the components of these new dimensions of warfare. It is evident that future conflict would encompass domains of space, cyber, special forces, and information operations. In the past decade, we have witnessed phenomenal growth in the capabilities of information management systems. National security implications of these capabilities are only now beginning to be understood by national leadership. In India, the Defense Ministry has set up an information warfare branch in the army to combat misinformation and false propaganda being spread through social media for adverse psychological impact. At the tri-services level, there are two organizations related to information warfare. The Defense Information Assurance and Research Agency, that's called the DIRA, DIARA, and the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, both functioning under the aegis of Headquarters Integrated Defense Services. Originally established as the Defense Information Warfare Agency, DIRA subsequently got redesignated to its current nomenclature. It was initially established to handle all aspects of information warfare. However, while on paper the functions remained the same, the focus of DIRA is on cyberspace operations. Approval has been accorded to upgrade DIRA to the Defense Cyber Agency to be called DCA, which is based on the demand for a cyber command proposed by the three services as early as 2012. The Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, coordinates the intelligence effort of the three services and provides a common interface with the civil intelligence community. Director General DIA is a member of the Intelligence Coordination Group, which works under the National Security Advisor. He is also a member of the National Information Board as well as the Apex Committee on Satellite Surveillance Board. He controls the strategic assets like Defense Imagery and Photo Analysis Center, DIPAC, and the Signals Intelligence, SIGINT. There is a need to substantially update existing information warfare doctrines at the joint services as well as individual service levels. In view of the ambiguity in the definition of information warfare terminologies worldwide, these doctrines must make a deliberate effort to rigorously define terms as applicable in the Indian context. The doctrines must be based on the model of a five-dimensional battle space, with infospace rather than cyberspace as the fifth dimension. They must emphatically endorse the operational imperative that conflict in this artificial and virtual dimension is at par with the traditional notion of conflict in the physical realm, and not merely in support of it. A significant portion of emerging information warfare theory attempts to grasp the impact of employing computer technology as a weapon system. Computer programs could take on the roles of cyber spies and warriors as they seek to impede an enemy's access to reliable information, while allowing friendly forces to form a reliable picture of enemy intentions and actions. While operational security and electronic warfare protect the integrity of our command and control systems, software strikes could be conducted against the enemy's critical command and control nodes and data. Information warfare can affect political, economic, or military targets. A televised news conference with an important dignitary could be altered to change its content. Information warfare could sabotage an economy by reducing international confidence in a nation's currency or causing an adversary to default on payments. Access to critical research and development facilities could be interfered with. Satellite communications could be terminated. Strategic information warfare waged independently could cause an adversary to lose faith in his own data management systems, greatly increasing confusion and difficulty of controlling assets. On an operational level, interference with enemy data management systems could create damaging time delays in the enemy's ability to make and implement decisions. On the tactical level, information warfare would be able to complement the use of other systems to reduce danger to friendly forces and increase chances for success of our forces. Information warfare doctrine has significant implications for modern military theory. The enemy soldier no longer constitutes a major threat. The focus now is on preventing the enemy soldier from talking to his commander. Without coordinated action, an enemy force becomes an unwieldy mob and a battle devolves to a crowd control issue. In the not too distant future, computer weapon systems will conduct software strikes against the enemy infosphere to disrupt command and control. Targets will be chosen for military, political, or economic significance. Information warfare thus opens new doors throughout the spectrum of conflict to achieve tactical, operational, and strategic objectives. It promises to dramatically impact the way we fight. Well, that's all from me in this video. This video is based on the information freely available on the internet. No originality is claimed for the same. I express my gratitude to all the websites for the information carried by them. The intention of this video is only to prepare candidates for answering examination questions on the subject. I do hope that you like this video. Do subscribe to my channel now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. Till later then, cheerio.